My name is Eric Vickrey. I'm the author of Season of Shattered Dreams, Post-War Baseball, the 1946 Spokane Indians, and a tragic bus crash that changed everything. We're here about 3 miles west of Snoqualmie Pass. Right up here is Interstate 90, which used to be US Route 10. And this is the vicinity of the team's bus crash that occurred on June 24th, 1946. So the bus was traveling west across Washington State. It had 16 players on board when it left Spokane for the team's next series in Bremerton. The team stopped and ate dinner in Ellensburg in central Washington. At that time, one of the players, Jack Lorkey, received news that he was being called up to the Pacific Coast League. So he said goodbye to his teammates and hitchhiked back to Spokane, and the rest of the team carried on. And it was just about an hour later that the team reached this point up here on US Route 10, just west of the pass. The bus encountered an oncoming vehicle which had crossed the center line. The bus driver actually hit the gas to try to clear the vehicle. Ultimately lost control of the bus. The bus broke through cable guard wire and crossed the road and headed into this steep ravine behind me. As a result of the crash, 9 players were killed and 6 were injured, as well as the bus driver was severely injured. And to this day, it remains the deadliest tragedy in the history of American professional sports. There hadn't been a book about the team, or their stories really hadn't been told. So being a baseball fan and a baseball historian, as well as somebody who lives in Washington State, the story really interested me, and I was interested in who these men were and what they were experiencing that summer in 1946. So I did a lot of research, digging through newspaper archives, conducting interviews, and put together the book over the course of about a year. So 9 players were killed in the accident, including Vic Pachetti, who was the top prospect on the team, and by all accounts, one of the best prospects on the West Coast. Vic was only 18 years old and was a surefire future major leaguer. And unfortunately, he was one of the 9 players who were killed in this accident, as well as Bob Patterson, another player with big league potential, and Chris Hartje, who actually had played with the Brooklyn Dodgers a number of years before. Among the survivors of the crash was Ben Garrity, who also had played with the Dodgers. Ben went on to have a long managerial career in the minor leagues, and actually managed Hank Aaron in 1953 when Aaron integrated the South Atlantic League. So Garrity had a long managerial career in the minors, but ultimately he was affected by the trauma that he carried from the crash and stuck with him until the day he died. Yes, it's about a baseball team, but really it's about the individuals, many of whom had just served in World War II and were looking forward to getting back to some sense of normalcy and pursuing their dreams and making a good living for their families. Ultimately, that's what most of them had in mind, and that was their goal in baseball, was to play the game they loved, but also provide for their families. And a number of players either had wives who were pregnant or were engaged to be married. So there was a lot of devastation as a result of the crash, and it affected a lot of lives, not only the people involved, but families and teammates around the league. So it's a story that's been long forgotten, so I was happy to bring it to light with this book.